Derek Carr did not an in-depth interview, not really not a lot, not a. We're not gonna do a bunch of videos on this, but it's worth looking at. Phil Perry did an interview for NBC Sports Boston, and he touched mostly on Josh McDaniels. All good things to say because that's an ad. We can go back to it later.
Okay.
Cool down, horn dog.
Oh shit, that's all shit.
This is what I had to say. Derek Carr talking about Josh McDaniels. The depth of the conversations that we're having is encouraging. It's fun for me. The best part of my game has always been the mental side, and that's how Josh is. He's a genius when it comes to scheming things up and teaching a system and getting the best out of his players, which is what we've been saying about him for a long time, right? Like, a lot of coaches have a lot of strengths. Some of them are just leaders of men. Maybe not the genius X's and O's. Like, Pete Carroll isn't like a great schemer, but he knows how to cheat when he's at USC, and he knows how to lead NFL players, right? Josh McDaniels, the thinker, an adjuster. Take the big brain on Brad.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not that surprising that's the first thing that came to Derek Carr's mind. He also continues, I feel like a better football player, and I've had a lot of great coaches. He's come in and he sees those things. Wow, that's awesome. What about this too? What about this here? It helps me grow. It's been really fun to be around him. So this has been something that's been repeated multiple times. Davante Adams said the exact same thing about Josh McDaniels. Davante Adams said, yeah, he respects my knowledge of the sport. He's obviously my coach and an offensive genius, but he'll come to me and ask, hey, what do you think of this? Or he'll have a suggestion about what we think we should do on offense, and he'll ask me what I think and what should I change. And he'll go ask, hey, Davante, what do you think we should do? It's like, okay, I'm going to take your contribution under advisement, and we should do it. We should alter it this way. And he's saying the exact same thing to Derek Carr. So this is another good sign, Soto, for your extreme positivity with Josh McDaniels and my more kind of measured optimism, is that the big thing is, how is Josh McDaniels handling egos, personnels, superstars? And it looks like one of his strategies are, Davante, you're so smart. What do you think? Derek, you're so smart. What do you think? Appealing to their intellect and to another extent, appealing to their ego. And so far, at least verbally, it's had screaming results.
Well, I mean, it's like the saying is, tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I understand. So
I've never heard that saying.
Really?
Is that Confucius?
I don't know. I heard it a long time ago, but this is what I was talking about when I was talking about Jon Gruden's offense and how he has an offense and that's it, and he just plugs you into that offense.
Yeah.
Whereas week to week, he's going to pull things from different tapes. You're going to see things that teams have been running against us week 1, 2, 3. You'll see that in week 5 and 6. Mm-hmm. Similar schemes, because he's going to pull things from things that he sees on tapes. So asking Derek Carr, because he knows some of the personnel, what's been successful with Waller or with Renfro or whatever. What have you seen against these defenses in the AFC West? And he could start building some plans, and they start working together and build some schemes around that. And it's just being more creative, being more flexible, being more fluid. We're going to see a lot of different looks offensively, and they're going to change from week to week.
And it sounds like there'll be a lot of input from the players, or at least Josh McDaniels is making it sound like there's going to be a lot of input from the players. And honestly, that's just a smart thing to do. Like, yeah. Derek Carr, very smart player. Davante Adams, very smart player. At least the two guys that have talked about Josh in such a way. And it's building on what you have, right? So, like, of course, Mike Florio, he saw this and he's like, oh, wow, he's talking good about Josh McDaniels. That means he's shitting all over Jon Gruden. That's clearly what that means. It's like, no, like Derek Carr literally just said, I've had a lot of good coaches, and Josh is building on that knowledge.
Yeah, Gruden has nothing to do with this. The question was about
nothing to do with it. Gruden was the opposite, right? Gruden's like, forget everything you know about football. Now we're going to do it my way.
Everything. Exactly.
Right? We're going to do it my way. Josh McDaniels is, teach me everything you know about football.
And I'll incorporate it into what I do.
Now this is the next step. And that's what Derek Carr is saying. Not shitting on Gruden. It's like, yeah, I had a lot of great coaches. And now all my knowledge is now Josh McDaniels' knowledge. Because, let's be honest. Like, is Josh McDaniels going to be the head coach of the Raiders for the next 25 years? I hope so, because that means he's killing it. But most likely not. And if Josh McDaniels is going to stop in Las Vegas, he's going to want to know everything Derek Carr knows for his future. He's going to want to know everything Davante Adams knows for his future. Now, short term, the Vegas future is the number one thing he's thinking about. But he's going to want to know what they're thinking about and everything. Like, any good coach, any good student of any occupation, or any good member of any sort of occupation is a student of that trade. Yeah, sounds like Josh McDaniels is the ultimate student.
Wants to learn a lot, and we're going to see it half to half too. And during halftime, hey Hunter, how are they defending you? What are they doing in this look, in this formation? What are they doing? I see what the film says. I see what the pictures say, how they're lining up against you. What are they doing to you? And he'll scheme something up, right? Okay, hey Derek, on this look in this formation, when we see this is what we're going to do instead. And it's going to be as simple as that. And it's harder to defense schematically. If you have the right players, if you have the right scheme, if you're able to confuse Derek Carr, it was a little bit easier to handle a Jon Gruden offense because it wasn't complex as far as you didn't know what was going to come. But, the fact that he has something for every way you're going to defend him is a little bit more difficult. So you just have to throw something a little bit different in disguise. Mm-hmm. When you have an offense that's more fluid, it's going to be a little more difficult to do that because they don't know exactly what you're going to do.
And empowering your players to make decisions, right? Like Derek Carr is so good pre-snap. Josh McDaniels wants him to be like, all right, let's understand what page we're all on. And then when you're lining up and you see Davante and he sees something and you see something and you give each other a glance and you're reading each other's minds, go do it. You're not like, well, no, Josh said we have to do this. It's nope. We're all on the same page. I've learned from you.
We all see the same thing.
I've learned from you. You've learned from me. That corner, only 5'9", shading inside a little too much. There's your out route. Just kind of look at each other and you know it, right? Like you saw that with like Tom Brady and Gronk all the time, right? Like Gronk would be in a 3-point stance, would just kind of like look over. They both look at each other and be like, oh, it's going for 6. Like they both see something. Yeah, right?
They see something exactly.
Josh wants that, right? And he knows he's got it. Derek Carr, great pre-snap. Davante Adams, super smart. They've all played in college, right? Like that is there. And it feels like Josh McDaniels is like trying to like germinate and let that naturally happen.
Yeah, I mean, famously, I remember an old school play with the Dolphins with Dan Marino and Mark Duper, and they got a pass play down to like the 1 or 2 yard line, and the play called was to hurry up down and spike the ball and stop the clock. Mm-hmm. When they ran down there, they saw both Duper or I think it was Clayton. Those two Mark Clayton, Mark Duper was Mark Clayton, and Dan Marino looks over. And Clayton looks back at him, and they're like, dude, this fucking corner is like way back. Mm-hmm. And they just gave each other a look, and everyone else was like, oh, the line was blocking in for a spike, and he just tossed it over to Clayton for a touchdown. Yep. And it just took a look. They asked him after the game, like, oh, yeah, he came over and he just gave me a little look, and I knew what we were going to do. And that's what you get empowered to do.
So Derek Carr continues. One thing Josh has done is he's coming and he says, this is not New England. This is Las Vegas. We're going to do things our way. I've learned a lot of great things there that we're going to implement, but I also have some things that I want to do my way. I think culture-wise, he's brought in his own vision and his own way of doing things. It's different than what he wanted to do in Denver. Boy, that's music to my ears. It's different than New England. It's what we're going to do in Las Vegas. He's a great guy, and I absolutely love him. So this is the second part that we were worried about, or at least I was, about Josh McDaniels. First one is, has he learned from his mistakes? Second one is he just trying to replicate what happened in New England? Just doing the Patriot way. It worked, and that's basically what every other coach that's come out of New England and failed elsewhere has done, is we're just going to replicate what we did in New England. It's like, well, you're not New England. You don't have Robert Kraft. You don't have Tom Brady. You don't have Bill Belichick. You don't have that front office. It's different. You're different. And you can't say, like Bill Belichick can say, do it my way, it works. And if you're a rookie, you're going to say, yes, sir. He's got the rings. Josh McDaniels can't say, do it my way, it works. He hasn't done shit. So him saying and telling Derek Carr, we're not going to do it the Patriot way. We're not going to be the Patriots. I learned a ton there. We're going to implement it here. We're going to do it the Las Vegas Raider way. So the two biggest concerns I had for Josh McDaniels, it's almost like Josh is like, all right, RJ's worried. Let me tell Derek Carr the two things they're going to make him feel better. Doing things just the Patriot way and doing things only his way. Congratulations for making it all the way to the end of our video. If you want Darren Waller to catch 20 touchdown passes next season and for Max Crosby to have 30 sacks, go ahead and subscribe and click the next video.